I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 8th, 2015. It was another day of violent attacks in Israel with at least 6 Israelis wounded in 3 different incidents. The most recent this afternoon near the West Bank settlement of Kiryat Arba. A Palestinian man stabbed an Israeli man said to be around 25 years of age, severely injuring him. The victim was taken to the hospital for treatment, and IDF forces were searching for the assailant. Earlier today, at least 4 and possibly 5 people were wounded in a stabbing attack that took place in Tel Aviv by a Palestinian terrorist armed with a screwdriver who began stabbing passersby on the street. The victims were listed by Magen David Adom paramedics as 3 women ages 60, 40, and 20, the 20-year-old an IDF soldier, and a man aged 40, all evacuated to the hospital, most with light wounds. The Times of Israel cites reports of a 5th victim who made his own way to the hospital. The terrorist was shot dead by Israeli security forces. He was named by Palestinian media as Thar Abu Ghazala, a resident of Jerusalem's Old City who worked at a building site in Tel Aviv. And in Jerusalem, a 25-year-old yeshiva student was stabbed by a terrorist named by the Shin Bet as 19-year-old Subi Abu Khalifa, a resident of the Shuafat refugee camp. He is currently undergoing questioning. The victim sustained serious injuries and was taken to Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center. Israel police, meanwhile, are installing metal detectors at some entrances to Jerusalem's Old City following several stabbing attacks, which took place there over the last few days. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon were set to hold a press conference tonight about the security situation. The White House expressed deep concern for the escalation in violence. Spokesman Josh Earnest yesterday said the U.S., quote, condemns in the strongest possible terms violence against Israeli and Palestinian civilians, and called on, quote, all parties to take affirmative steps to restore calm and refrain from actions and rhetoric that would further inflame tensions. And leaders of the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations, Chairman Stephen Greenberg and Executive Vice Chairman Malcolm Hoenlein, called for the international community to condemn the terror attacks as well, saying no society would or should have to tolerate such acts against women, children, and men attacked while driving, visiting malls, attending religious services, or going about their daily lives. They also called on Palestinian leadership, in particular on Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, to quell incitement, and called on the U.S. government to make those same demands, saying that failure of Palestinian officials to do so and calm the violence should, quote, bring a cut in funding and the isolation of Abbas until he takes concrete steps. And looking now at some other news, Jewish-American musician and singer Matisyahu arrived in Israel. Yesterday, he met with former Israeli President Shimon Peres at the Peres Center for Peace in Jaffa, where Peres thanked the performer for standing up to the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement. He said, in your music, you represent peace, and in your efforts, you represent courage. If you recall, organizers of the Rotterdam Festival in Spain this summer had canceled Matisyahu's performance due to BDS pressure and then re-invited him after they faced strong criticism. Matisyahu told Peres yesterday that boycotts only create barriers. He said, this is not the way to advance peace. I call on all Jews to come to Israel and to support the joint effort toward peace. The singer and his full band will take the stage this Saturday night in Jerusalem's Sultan's Pool. And looking now at our programming for tonight on JBS, on Thursday, October the 8th at 8 o'clock, 2 individuals who have left traditional Jewish communities talk about their journeys with the Jewish Week's Sandy Brewarski at New York's Rodef Shalom. At 9 o'clock, part 2 of Mark Golub's interview with Rabbi Brad Hirschfield, president of Klal, and at 10 o'clock, professor of Talmud at Bar-Ilan University, Rabbi Daniel Sperber, explains why he says modern Orthodoxy is the true Orthodoxy. And coming up right after this newscast, Middle East analyst for the Times of Israel, Avi Issacharoff, discusses Palestinian violence, the Iran nuclear deal, and Israel's growing relationship with Russia on In the News with Mark S. Golub. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 8th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.